number one real estate agents in Kingsford for the last 11 years. Wow.
I think one of the biggest challenges a lot of new agents face is being able to get that consistency. Knowledge and people knowing who you are is priceless. I knew that I'd be an attraction agent. I wanted business to come to me because of me. So I thought to myself, how am I going to be different? I remember once I flew to Los Angeles, and that 14-hour flight, I was nervous that I couldn't get to my phone. I literally landed and started calling my clients from the airport. And I thought, this is not right.
Theo Felekos, thank you very much for coming in, mate.
Thank you for having me.
Has been, I know we've been postponing for a few weeks. We made it. Thank you for your patience.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Theo, so you've been in the game, a real estate agent, for 23 years. Wow. You're doing great, by the way. And
Thank you.
You've been number one real estate agents in Kingsford for the last 11 years.
It's not easy.
Wow. Mate, and your office has been number one for the last 12 years. Ray White. You've always been with Ray White.
I was with the previous company, but Ray White Kingsford is in my core market area. So we made that transition because we wanted to obviously focus in on that Kingsford, Kensington, Maroubra pocket.
Yeah.
So being in that area really helped me because originally I was based a little bit further out in South Coogee, which was just a little bit too difficult to manage.
Yeah. Okay. So you started in South Coogee and you pivot more into Kensington, Kingsford?
Correct. That was our core market. So a lot of my business was coming from there.
Right.
So I had the luxury of starting off in a company where they owned 4 offices. So I actually pivoted around from their Mascot office, Maroubra office, South Coogee office.
Yeah.
But when it came out, well, obviously when I got to the point where I wanted to be a standalone agent, my focal market was Kingsford, Kensington. And geographically just didn't work. So that's when I made the shift across. And with the Ray White brand and what they could offer, it was a no-brainer. I had to make that transition.
Tell me more about you mentioned the brand Ray White, what they offer. Is more like the back end, so it means you don't need to spend much time on admin and data. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Being a global company, it made our business, look, as you can imagine, our core market, we get a lot of overseas investing.
Yes.
And we've got to obviously deal with a brand that people trust.
Yeah.
People in Indonesia, there's a Ray White in Indonesia. That familiarity is always obviously popular. So having that behind you definitely helps. The back end is second to none at the moment.
Right.
The use of AI, obviously we've got a new brand called Nurture Cloud. It's a new process we utilize.
Interesting.
And it's really simplified the process and it's become way more user-friendly and we can just simply do more.
So you Nurture Cloud is more is a CRM or is it more of...
Basically, yes.
Okay.
But it's taking things to the next level. So little things like for a vendor, they can access any information, any feedback, how many hits the property received online, all that kind of data, all that kind of communication has been taken to the next level because it's all about the experience now. Yeah. Anyone can list and sell, anyone can do the sale process, but we're trying to make it more user-friendly and a better experience.
Okay, so let's say you put a property on the market. The vendors can get access to this and can keep an eye what's happening from the level of activities.
Exactly.
Interesting. Like an app on
Correct.
laptop?
So they get sent a link, they click onto that link, they can access, they can look at it 100 times a day if they want to.
Right.
And they can basically scope exactly what the property is doing, how it's performing, if inquiries are dropping off, if we need to change something, etc. We're obviously doing it daily because we need to know obviously how the property is heading, but having that interaction, it basically allows them to see what's happening on the back end as well.
Wow. I like that. So, and are they able to see actually how many inquiries, how many inspections, how many contracts, how many strata?
All that feedback.
Really?
All that feedback. Because it's crucial because you've got to make a decision come auction day. If you don't have the right information, you're not going to make the right decision.
Yeah.
So equipping the vendor with absolutely everything that they need in order to make the right decision, I'm all for. And that's what it's helped us do.
Interesting. Do you think that giving all that information to the vendor, that of course they don't sell property every day, sometimes can play in a disadvantage into the sales process?
Look, you have different types of people. Some people give us the keys and say, look, Theo, sell our place. We don't need to know all the information. This is what we're trying to get. Just get us there.
Got it.
For those types of people, it's probably not going to be very useful because they're not wanting to be part of that process. They're usually busy in their own lives. They probably have families, etc., etc. So for those people, it's not going to be useful. And for the others that probably don't like listening to bad feedback or negative feedback about their property, they're probably not going to like that either. But at the end of the day, we have to provide true information and educational information where people can make that decision on absorbing that information and assessing where they're going to end up, obviously come auction day or once they accept an offer.
Yeah, that's true. I use the same things on my end from the buying side. Yeah, there are people who want to be heavily involved and there are people that just, that's my budget, go and find it and call me when you find something that can be suitable. That's true.
Naturally.
Because often if I get them too involved, let's say I'm negotiating on a property, they can get a little bit too emotional about it. And, that's probably the reason they hire me, to remove the stress out of it.
Of course.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. I like that. So nurture cloud. Love that. Okay, so thank you for that. Let's go back to, so you born and bred in Sydney?
Correct.
In the East?
In the East, went to St. Spiridon College, based in Kingsford again.
There you go.
Kindergarten through to year 12, which was great. Lived in Kingsford all my life.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. It was a great upbringing. We used to go to the beach, Coogee Beach, close by.
Yeah.
Loads of playgrounds and things like that around the way, which was lovely. So great upbringing. Really loved it.
Nice. When did you choose to start your career in real estate? How old were you?
Look, I was kind of finishing year 12 at school.
Yeah.
And as you kind of reach the crossroads, you think, okay, well, what's next for me?
Yeah.
I knew I loved obviously dealing with people and being in the service industry. So it was kind of a case where I was thinking, do I get into maybe, hotels or something like that where I could be like a concierge dealing with people on a day-to-day basis. And I've always had a passion for real estate, but I didn't really know a lot about it. So I did inquire a little bit further about it, and I started a course over at Randwick TAFE the following year after I finished school. Yeah, I thought if it works out, great. After the first 6 months, I loved it. I was living and breathing real estate. I was flicking through the Southern Courier looking at property. I thought, okay, I'm definitely hooked now. I've got the bug. So I approached a couple of offices to hopefully get a start. I was obviously quite young. I was only about 18 at the time. Obviously not qualified yet. And I approached an office and said, look, I'm willing to work for you for free for a month. I'll do whatever you want, empty the bins. I just want to be a part of it. I want to see what happens day to day. And the more I saw, the more I was drawn in. So it was at that point I thought, okay, this is what I'm doing.
And you started, they say, all right, you can come in. And
I was ordering coffees for the boss. I was doing all the ground zero stuff.
Nice.
But I learned so much in that 1 month because the discipline you need to turn up every day and not get paid.
Yes.
I doubt anyone would do that today.
Nice.
So, it was a journey. It was something that I look back on and laugh, but I realized I learned so much out of that first month of observing and understanding. And thankfully, it wasn't all good stuff. I learned what I didn't want to do and what I didn't want to become either. It was a journey that I think it was a piece to the journey that I needed in order to kick off my career.
To the next step, And after they gave you a job, they say, yes, you can start now, I'll start paying you?
Well, they offered me a senior position as a property manager. So
straight away,
exactly. And I was really taken back. I thought, I can't probably do this. I'm not qualified for this.
Yeah.
So I explored a couple of other options. I was approached by a nearby office and I ended up starting there. I started as a leasing clerk for 18 months.
Yeah.
That was exciting, very different because obviously a little bit more responsibility, a little bit more accountability. I started at a time when the rental market was really bad.
Really?
It was really challenging. Rents had dropped about 20-25%.
We talk about Kingsford here.
Kingsford, Kensington, Maroubra, that whole
Really?
pocket. So things were really tough back then.
So we're talking about 23 years ago.
Correct. So I had to I was basically thrown in the deep end at the time. And
How much, sorry for interrupting, how much 2-bedroom was rented? I know if you can remember, it's 23 years ago. Was it a 2-bedroom apartment? Was it rented for?
in Kingsford, say a red brick 2-bedroom, like 380, 400 a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
There you
ridiculous.
go.
But
Okay.
things weren't moving. Like, I mean, you'd have properties on there. It wasn't unusual to have a property vacant for 3 to 4 months.
Really?
So it was absolutely bizarre and it was really challenging. But again, it was a good time to learn how to negotiate. It was a time where we had to implement, 1 week free rent, give tenants free rent, renovate, do repairs, do certain things to entice people to move in, install built-ins. It was all a negotiation. A little bit different to what the rental market's like now.
I know.
Now
I'm
you've
like,
got the
what?
queues out the door.
Yeah.
You got the luxury of picking from 7 or 8 of applications. Not like that at all.
At 23 years ago, Kingsford, Kensington was a completely different,
Different beast.
like no buildings, no.
It wasn't as busy as it was. It wasn't considered a hub. Now, obviously, the infrastructure, the construction of the light rail in the last few years, it's really drawn people to the area. It's also drawn investors to the area. But the core sort of attraction has always been, you've got a university, you've got a hospital very close by, you're close to the beach, and you're less than 6 kilometres to the city.
Yeah.
You're always going to
It's a good
have
spot.
demand. It ticks a lot of the boxes for people.
It is. No, it is. I bought a few Kensington, Kingsford, and yeah, that's the main reason that they like the convenience factors. Amazing. That's so interesting. Okay. So you started in leasing and you were negotiating. I can't believe that, because now you can rent it out. You got people lining up, like probably 30, 40 people waiting outside. Wow, that's crazy. So, and you are in the game now, and after a few months that you are a leasing agent, what happened then?
So through that process, I really found that I really enjoyed, again, dealing with the people, creating those negotiations, reading how people work.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough, the director promoted me straight. I didn't actually even become a property manager at that point. I was promoted straight to being the boss's PA.
Wow.
So
After a year.
After a year. It was a bit closer to 18 months, but just after a year we had those discussions
Yeah.
and I slowly progressed in. So after 18 months, I'm the director's PA. He's transacting anywhere between, say, 55 and 70 properties a year. We're talking boom, 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 really busy time. So you're talking sort of around that 2003 period. Market was just really off the charts. Auctions were flying out the door. You're getting results 20, 30% above reserve, that kind of stuff. So it was a really good time to be in the market.
Yeah, okay.
And then we had the 2 interest rate hikes at the end of 2023.
yeah.
And it was like someone pulled the electricity out of the socket. It was just insane. Market just stopped. So the market turned so sharply in 2004. That was one of our hardest years ever. In 23 years of real estate, I've got to say that's probably one of the worst periods I've ever enjoyed. I think we went 3 or 4 months without a sale.
3 to 4 months without a sale.
That's right. And we're talking a director who was selling, 55 to 70 properties to make zero money for 3 to 4 months.
Wow.
It was just a culture shock to clients. And I think a lot of people didn't know how to adjust with that. Obviously now interest rates are the talking point every month, every quarter. But back then rates were so low, it was just kind of considered the norm. But
Yeah.
that transition really scared people. And until people started adjusting, then the market sort of got back up on its feet.
Got it. What do you see that in 2000, during these challenging times, what I noticed that a lot of people quit. Do you know what I mean? So what made you, I'm going to stick to this, I'm going to push through this, and I'm going to keep going? Because I've just noticed, like, even when we recruit in our company, like as soon as they get tough, they'll say, oh, I may go do something else. This is inconsistent. What kept you like, I'm going to keep going with this?
I think it's like with anything. when circumstances change, you have to change. You have to evolve. I don't know any agent who's done the same thing for 50 years and it's worked for 50 years.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. It's a bit like me playing soccer now. Like,
Can you repeat that? That's actually a very good point. Can you say that again?
Yeah. Look, in relation to doing the same thing for 50 years, it's not going to work consistently for 50 years. Don't get me wrong. You've got your foundation stuff, which you're going to do day in, day out, but you need to evolve with the market.
Yeah.
If you're not dynamic and evolving with the market, you're going to get left behind. Just simple as that. Technology won't allow you to do the same thing for 50 years, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So during that time, we sat down, we said, okay, we've got to do something different. Like, I mean, there were many agents that weren't even taking names and numbers at inspections in 2003. You just knew the property was going to sell. So you didn't even need to collect the data. So we really sat down and thought, okay, we've got to start capturing data. We have to start managing our buyers more. It's not just about listing properties. So it was at that point we did a lot of buy work, and I became that buy work person.
Yeah.
And the director was out there chasing listings. And through that work, through that process, we got back up on our feet and we perfected things. And at that time, we had 50% market share of our core market back then. We're talking every second listing was ours.
50%.
And we kept that for about 3 or 4 years because we changed something and it worked. And we persisted with it, we grew it, and obviously we evolved from there.
Yeah. Wow. And you say the changes and adapting to the market. So during this time, the things that you've done differently is collecting data, giving more attention to the buyers.
Very much so.
And regards getting more listing, what were you doing differently then during that challenging times?
Well, it kind of went hand in hand because when we were sitting in front of vendors, other agents were presenting what they could do for the owner.
Yeah.
Then we were coming in with spreadsheets and saying, look, this is how we're collecting our data. This is how we're going to find your buyers.
Right.
This is the amount of buyers that have been matched up with your property.
Yeah.
It was revolutionary for a lot of people. So they had the faith in us, knowing that we're going to find them a buyer for their place that would marry up to their place. And with that faith, we naturally got more listings. And the more people we were meeting, the more buyers you'd have. It's just it's basically a growth thing. So it kind of evolved in that way.
Got it. And after that, when did you become a self-sufficient real estate agent? So like, I can do everything by myself now.
Look, I was lucky enough with that director. Once I got better at what I was doing and obviously more skilled, he allowed me to carry listings under him for a period of time. So I was running my own campaigns under him.
Yeah.
But I think it was 2007 where I literally was on a retainer. I actually had to hit targets and all the rest of it. 2007. So I was a few years in. But that 2-3 year period of being an assistant, I learned so much where I had the confidence to go out by myself. I had no fear. I knew what I was in for. It wasn't like a cold agent just jumping into the market. I'd had that backing. I'd been galvanized through the process.
Yeah. Nice. And so you had then the retainer. So it means you got the base plus the comms and you got the target. So what I want to go now is more the habits. So because I believe now you've been doing for a few years, you are self-sufficient. What was the schedule look like? Like you now are at the stage where you know what you need to do daily in order for you by the end of the month have the numbers that you need to hit.
Of course. And it is daunting for some people. They look at the numbers on the page and they think, okay, I've got to hit that in order to hit my targets. And it's good to have that because without a roadmap, you're going to end up nowhere. Yeah. You need to know how you're going to get to that success point. So I looked at it and I think my biggest challenge starting up was the peaks and troughs. Yeah. You'd go out there and list. You'd sell everything and then you'd have nothing. So then you've got to go and canvas again. List again, but no sales. Yeah. So it just became up, down, up, down. Yeah. And that's probably, I think, one of the biggest challenges a lot of new agents face is being able to get that consistency. Know that there's 10 listings coming in every month, there's going to be 10 sold, and you keep rolling on. Yeah. And having that consistency is absolutely crucial. And it took me a few years to get that perfected. And that was for a couple of reasons. One, when you're a one-man band and you've got no one supporting you behind you,
Yeah.
you literally have to do everything. So
Yes.
you don't have time to focus on what you need to do. You're literally doing everything. And that's something I learned probably after the first 3 or 4 years. I maxed myself out to a certain point where I knew if I wanted to write more GCI,
You
I had
need
to
someone.
delegate. You need
Got
a
it.
team. You need to be able to distribute things that you're not good at.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, if it takes me 15 minutes to write a letter and it takes someone else 5, I'm wasting 10 minutes of something that I could be doing something else.
Yeah. Yeah. When did you make the decision to say, all right, I need someone now in my team?
I got to a point where I was literally working close to 70 hours a week. It
Yeah.
sounds insane, but I was staying back till late, trying to do paperwork, trying to cram. And I thought, if I do this for another 10 to 15 years, I'm guaranteed to burn out.
Yeah.
And it was at that point I thought, okay, well, I'm going to get a junior on, see if I can delegate at least the administration side of things, because I didn't want to compromise quality service. I wanted people to be able to deal with me at every step of the way.
Yeah.
Because once you start delegating and you lose that personal touch,
I agree.
it becomes a completely different experience.
Yeah.
And that's something I didn't want to do. I wanted to maintain that sense of touch to my clients and delegate the administration stuff. The stuff that's not important, who does it, obviously, as long as it's done correctly. So
Yeah.
ran that, increased GCI by about 25%. So
Wow.
so it was
So just by adding someone, they're like, are you focusing on?
I was focusing on what I do best. Instead of wasting energy on stuff that I didn't like,
Yeah.
I wasn't working till 10 o'clock at night. I was all of a sudden finishing work at 6:30 and I was fresh for the next day, which means if I was losing 2 or 3 listings a week, now I was only losing 1 because had a lot more energy. I was sharper. I was better rested, basically,
Yeah.
better balance.
No, makes sense. Okay. For people, they are at the stage, they're performing very well by themselves, and they get to the point where they struggle to let it go. When I say let it go, and probably me, I used to be one of them before I started to have some people in the team, which, I think that my business is like my baby. And when you put so much effort and time, you struggle to actually, no, don't do this, do this way. And I believe everyone, especially high performance, go through these stages. When was the pivot that you said, okay, if I don't let it go and I trust my team, I can't move to the next level? When was the time I said, okay, I need to calm down, I need to let it go?
So I got to a point where I was cancelling holidays. I wasn't doing certain things that I enjoyed doing. And I woke up one morning and I said, well, do I really want to be doing this for the rest of my life? Do I want to be foregoing what I actually enjoy, my why, for being able to, not pay an extra wage and be able to have that full control? And it got to a point where I thought, I've got to make a decision here and draw the line in the sand and say, look, I've got to delegate 30% of my business so that I can focus on work-life balance and be able to perform better.
Yeah.
Because quality is really important.
Yeah. 2 things. One is you mentioned personal touch. Quality. So how important is, because often I see real estate agents, they've really focused on the speed, which I believe, yes, is important to do the volume, but at the same time, they forget that you're dealing with people.
Of course.
And how important is to see the long-term picture, because if you deliver a good service, they will be talking and then maybe they will have more property to sell with you. So can you please break down, because you keep mentioning personal touch, you keep mentioning focusing and listening. Can you please elaborate a little bit more on that and maybe explain the long-term picture? Because often real estate agents, they try to get these quick money short term, but these people, they're not going to sell with you ever again, and maybe they're going to talk bad about you and with the neighbors.
First thing that I wanted to identify with myself was, what type of agent do I want to be?
Yeah.
Do you want to be the biggest? Do you want to be the best? Do you want to be a niche? Do you want to be specialized? All those kind of things are really important to establish at the start, because that's probably going to be the determining factor on which path you're going to take.
Right.
If you want to be the biggest, you're going to hire a team of 10, 15 and really attack the market, take a big risk and go for it. That wasn't me. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to maintain that, so I didn't want to take that approach. I knew that I'd be an attraction agent. I wanted business to come to me because of me. And if that's the case, you have to provide a level of service that's above and beyond anyone else. But I still think by doing that, you still need to be involved. If you're not involved and you lose, as I said, that personal touch, you're going to struggle to create that sort of unicorn feel where you're one of a kind. People are going to come to you for a reason. So I had to work out a way how I was going to be different, what I can provide that is different, so that people felt, compelled to come to us and utilize our services. So what I wanted to structure is, how do we obviously deal with buyers, what sort of networks we're dealing with. I started dealing with a lot of high net worth people, understanding how they work their businesses and how they attracted those types of businesses and that sort of network. And it all kind of just culminated into forming a business plan that I felt that would work for me, because business is personal. Someone can come and tell you how to run a business, but if you're not able to run the business in the way that they are telling you, it's not going to work. Yeah. You have to be invested in what you're doing.
Yeah. So you mentioned an attraction agent. Takes time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's taken 23 years.
Yeah. Which is amazing. Before you get to that level, what were you doing to get business? Cold calling, door knocking? Were you doing any of this stuff?
To a certain extent, yes. So there's the compulsory stuff when you list a property, obviously notify the street, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's a non-negotiable for me. But I felt that there was multiple agents doing the same thing. So if you're going to do the same thing that everyone else is doing, you're generally going to get the same outcome.
Got it.
So I thought to myself, how am I going to be different? So I would attend strata meetings. If there were certain buildings that I liked and I wanted to sell it, I'd attend their strata meetings.
Really?
I'd talk to some of the owners there. I'd say, look, we're managing Unit 12. I wanted to see how the building's travelling. Have you had your property updated with a market appraisal? It's a free service. I obviously have done it for my client in Unit 12. I'd love to provide that sort of service for you.
Nice.
Now, if you've got a building of 50, I've canvassed 50 people in 1 hour at a strata meeting that I would have done cold calling, for instance.
Why? That's a good... Sorry, say that again. So you go to a strata meeting, say that again.
And I'm attending a strata meeting representing an owner.
Yeah.
Let's say we manage Unit 12.
Yeah.
And I'm there introducing myself, handing out business cards.
Yeah.
And I'm networking. Now, obviously, I don't own the apartment, but I'm there representing a client. They're thinking, wow, this agent's turned up to represent a client. That's the first thing to a strata meeting.
That's a very good move.
And then canvassing the owners in that building and speaking to them and saying, look, we've provided a market appraisal for our client. We're happy to do the same for you. And all of a sudden, you're building a database. Would you like me to keep you informed with what's happening in the building? We're probably going to manage more properties. Logging all that data, putting that in our system.
Yeah.
If we eventually sell Unit 12, just letting you know we've sold Unit 12. Would you like to know how it compared to yours? That ongoing communication builds from there. So that was just one reason. Thinking outside the square, especially for a newer agent, absolutely crucial. Now, if I was to do it today, let's say I was a new agent today, I think utilising social media platforms is absolutely crucial. Obviously, what we're doing today is really important. And I think just trying to be different, but be different with something that you're good at. Not different, just not being different just for the sake of being different, I think is really crucial.
And what I like about that is, yes, you're attending the strata meetings, so you're showing up your face and, delivering value, but the level of knowledge that you gain when the buyers come into the property and they ask you what's going on with the strata, you wouldn't believe how many times that I go in and they don't know, they can't give me an answer, which is okay. At the end of the day, they're selling the property, but their extra point of knowledge utilized at the right time give buyers confidence.
Totally.
I love that.
Yeah.
I never thought about it, actually. That's brilliant. Thank you for this. Okay. You mentioned networking with high net worth clients. Now, where do you find these people? Because a lot of people, they said, oh, I want to sell expensive property. Oh, I want to. So, and of course, let's say you are a newish agent and you want to slowly sell your way to the point. Give us some tips of, find this type of clients, or if you attend networking meetings, playing golf, all that stuff.
It's funny you say golf, because I have picked up golf during COVID in order to do that. So that's one aspect. We've met a lot of people through golf.
So this golf is true.
It's very true. It's very true. It's amazing, but it's definitely true. When I was younger...
Are you a good golfer?
I'm more of a gardener than a golfer.
Yeah.
I'm terrible.
I'm pretty terrible, yeah.
But what I used to do to meet these high net worth people when I was younger, I would think, if I was rich, where would I be? I'd either be at a really fancy car wash.
Yeah.
I'd either be at a cafe in a nice area.
Yeah.
And I'd literally just pull out the iPad, pull out the laptop, start talking. They'd hear you on the phone. Oh, are you in real estate? It opens up a conversation. I wanted to think like these people, and where would they be, and work out a way to get involved with them.
Got it.
Whether it's a restaurant, whatever it may be, whatever avenue you can utilise, I would utilise. It's also important to know your local professionals, buyers agents, solicitors, accountants.
Yeah.
I'd reach out to them so that they knew who I was. Because if Tom Smith is a high net worth person and his accountant is down the road, oh, yes, I've heard of Theo. Use him. He's a good kid. He's come and reached out to me. That's someone vouching for you, and that's basically building your profile by knowing all the professionals within your core area. That definitely helps. Knowledge and people knowing who you are is priceless.
Yeah, I love that. So you go to the car wash, wash your car, hello, good morning, how are you, what's your name? This is kind of becoming a lost art, and I've noticing with the generation that is coming through, I noticed there is less face-to-face social approach. I don't know if it is an anxiety what I have. They is becoming a lost art, which I believe the face-to-face is still the most powerful.
Sure.
Like I remember, for me to sign up a clients from never met them before to phone calls, a follow-up, a callback takes probably 3 to 4 weeks. And I met this gentleman face-to-face. Once we clicked, the next day signed. Do you know what I mean? That's where you can really speed up the process. So what I'm learning from you, and this is for everyone, is put yourself out there and don't be scared to say good morning, good evening, without going with the intention, oh, I want to try to sell your property. Do you know what I mean? Just deliver value. That's what I'm getting from you. And go and play golf.
If you can, yeah.
Fantastic, mate. Thank you. So now, you got 2 kids.
I do.
Okay, now you're going to tell me this. Because I have a 12 weeks old. Okay.
Congratulations.
The advice I'm looking from you is time management. So business owner, high performer for 11 years, like he's pretty impressive with family and kids, running a team and running a business. I have no doubt, because if you perform that level and you got all of these things going on, you must be good at time management. So how did you develop this time management? What are you doing differently compared to 10 years ago?
So I'll break it up into life at home and life at work.
Yeah.
So life at work, I basically try and plan my day the day before.
Yeah.
So before I leave on Monday, I've already planned out what's going to happen on Tuesday, and I leave a little section for miscellaneous because obviously things come up, appraisals, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So planning is really important. Obviously, you're going to get your miscellaneous things that are going to pop up, but we obviously allow for that. A lot of emails, a lot of communication. Communication's really important. A lot of foresight as well, seeing what's going to come up next week, the week after. That way, we know if we're going to be stretched for time or if we're going to have a little bit more breathing space. And planning for that's really important. At home, no questions asked every quarter. We try and go away as a family every quarter, even if it's for 2 or 3 days. For 2 reasons. One, it's for something for me to look forward to and the family. and also you just need it.
Yeah.
It's such a high octane business that we're working in. If you don't take a break, you are going to burn out. And it comes back to when you were telling me, when did you know that you needed a team?
Yeah.
I was burning out.
Yeah.
Without knowing it, it's actually just progressively getting worse. So organisation is always a challenge. Balance is always a challenge. There's always things that are going to come up. Understanding and accepting that there's challenges is important, and then taking action. A lot of people sit and dwell and think, oh, I'm busy. Oh, I've got too much work on.
Yeah.
Map out a plan. What needs to be done? Write it down. I think getting action, even if it's one step, you're one step closer to getting everything done. The longer you procrastinate, the longer you're going to be where you are, and there's going to be even more things being put on your desk and taking you even further away from where you need to be.
How many people do you have in your team right now?
So at the moment, I've got Maria, who's basically my right-hand person, who pretty much does everything that I can't get to.
Yeah.
She's very hands-on. She's got 20 years in the industry as well, so she's not a freshie. She knows her way around everything. We've also got support staff. We've got our admin people. We've got our VAs, our virtual assistants. We are pushing a lot of our technology, like our Nurture Cloud, as we mentioned before, because a lot of it's automated.
Yes.
There's only so much you can remember as a person. And obviously, whenever you forget, you need AI or technology to pick up the slack. Yeah. So with that automation and obviously keeping people informed, it's...
Ferry.
Yeah, Ferry's
shout out to Ferry.
Yeah, he's great. He's a crucial part of our team as well, because we're all multilingual as well. Victoria as well, she speaks Cantonese Mandarin. You've got Ferry who speaks Indonesian, obviously speak Greek as well. Yeah. So we cover a lot of bases, and that's really crucial when you've got overseas investors, right?
It is.
As you can see,
Yeah, no, we have Stacey here. She's fluent Chinese, and I can speak Italian, so I agree, especially in the Sydney market, is very international.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice. So you got like 4 or 5?
4.
4 people in the team?
Yeah.
And what would you say is the day-to-day business office schedule, roughly? You are on the road all the time, or?
I generally spend a lot of time on the road, or I'm on the phone. I'm making anywhere between, say, 95 and 120 phone calls a day.
Yeah, like me, similar.
So it is demanding. And in between that, so they're basically scheduled blocks where I'll have a block of 90 minutes where I won't talk to anyone. That's just phone calls.
Right.
As far as the team, they've got a perfect week. So we've got something we do every day that has to be done non-negotiable, and then we incorporate certain things. Yeah. So obviously if there's a private inspection or if there's an appraisal that lands, we try and keep our appraisals all on the same day.
Yeah.
So that we're in appraisal mode. So we'll try and do 2 or 3 appraisals on that day. Just makes it a lot easier. Whereas if you're doing an appraisal every day, it kind of breaks.
Confused. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
It breaks the momentum. Whereas if you've got it a little bit more structured, it makes things easier.
Yeah.
We try and go out once a month for lunch, just to celebrate our successes as well.
Nice.
It's all well and good to work really hard and achieve, but if you don't celebrate your successes, well, then it's no use. Do a lot of goal setting as well. Probably something I've implemented over the last 5 years. Before that, it was
101.
Yeah, 101. Working out what they're trying to achieve, trying to get people to their goals is really crucial.
It is.
Because, again, if you've got nothing to look forward to, you've got a map to nowhere.
And a lot of your staff, you don't have a big turnover, are you? Like people...
I try and keep staff...
That's a very good sign.
Yeah, look, I think... I consider myself a pretty good boss. I am quite flexible. As long as things get done, I have flexibility because I know life is flexible. Like we're living in a very high demand life, high demand surroundings. So for people to be very rigid makes life hard. Whereas if you're flexible and still getting the desired job accomplished, that's really important.
Okay, I like this one about goal setting with your team because you want to know where they want to go, what they want to do, and people are different. Okay, so I believe the goal setting you do with Ferry is different from the one that you do with your assistant.
Of course.
I believe.
Yes.
Okay, great. I like that because sometimes I'm very impatient man. Okay.
Unreal.
And because this is my case, I'm very demanding on myself and I expect the same level of standards with others, which is wrong, what I found out, and that's why when you mentioned goal setting, is because people have different goals.
Of course.
You know what I mean? My goal is different compared to other people in the team. And this is because I was treating them the same way that I would treat myself. And what I've learned is wrong because people have different goals.
Of course.
Not everybody want to become a multimillionaire or, they got different goals, and there are people they don't like to deal all of that pressure and stress. I personally get excited, but what I'm learning from you is to plan it and give yourself a break sometimes. I think, in my case, I often struggle to turn it off. I get nervous when I leave the office for a week because I got all of these clients to take care of. And I've got this rhythm. And when I don't speak with the clients for 3 days, I get nervous. What's happening? Why they're not happy? Why they not speak? Why they not message you? Did you have the same things in your career?
Very much so. Very much. I would jump on a plane to event. I remember once I flew to Los Angeles, and that 14-hour flight, I was nervous that I couldn't get to my phone. I couldn't respond. I had the BlackBerry. Remember the BlackBerry phones?
Oh, yes.
So I literally landed and started calling my clients from the airport.
Wow.
And I thought, this is not right.
Yeah.
But to your level of anxiety, I was a little bit anxious like that.
Got it.
But now I trust the process. If you've invested in the process, you got the right people around you, they can cover for you for when you're going on a holiday.
Yeah.
And if it's important, obviously they'll reach out to you. But as I said, I trust the process. I trust the people around me, which makes the process a little bit easier. Only for that period of time, obviously, when I'm away.
Nice. No, mate, thank you. I needed that because that's what I'm working on. Last few questions. I'll promise I'll let you go because more you talk, more I want to know. The market right now. So October 2025, I can call you the king of Kingsford, Kensington and surroundings. Give some tips to buyers. Okay, so they walk in, like the property, but they don't know, they don't feel comfortable. Of course, yeah, they can speak with Perry as a buyer's agent, but apart from that, any tips for them?
It's funny you mentioned that because I think that's something really important. Having the right people around you before you even go to a property is crucial. The right broker, the right solicitor, buyer's agent, having the right professionals giving you the right advice is absolutely crucial. The amount of times that people have lost deals or lost properties because the solicitor's too slow.
Oh.
The broker hasn't got the approval in time. That has cost people properties. This year, I'd say it's happened at least a dozen times for clients that have come through our properties. So surrounding yourself with the right professionals that understand your expectations, absolutely crucial. Second thing I would probably say for buyers, which is a crucial point, is distinguish between want and need. A lot of people want certain things, but they don't actually need it. And the property that they want might be $500,000 more, but the one they need could be $500,000 to $600,000 less.
Yeah.
I'll give you a classic example. I remember a story stands out to me. A lady had moved for a really large house. She said, I need a garage because I got a lot of paperwork. I used to be a solicitor. I saw a lot of boxes with paperwork, etc., etc. I said, well, what you need is not a garage. You need an in-roof storage. You might need an extra bedroom. You might need a storage room. But you don't actually need a garage. And then when she started thinking about that, she ended up buying a property from us without parking. And she installed an attic storage, put all the paperwork out there, and she saved herself $500,000. So distinguishing between what you want and need, I want a house with a pool. Well, if you've got a big backyard, you don't necessarily need the pool straight away. Buy the house without the pool. And once you're comfortable, once the kids are at an age where they want the pool, you install it 3, 4, 5 years left down the track. So distinguish between want and need. Very important.
I like that. Tips for vendor. They said, the market, should I wait for next year? The interest rate, I believe you came across. What are you hearing from at the moment, October 2025, from the vendor's point of view?
What I've noticed is a lot of vendors are interviewing a lot more agents. Traditionally, it would be 2 or 3. I'd say the last 6 months, I've probably been one of 7 or 8.
Really?
Which I think is crazy. But look, some people just don't know if they're going to connect with a certain person or they've been disappointed with the first 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Want to get things right, which I can completely understand. Another reason is there's such a big discrepancy with agents at the moment. Because the market has been a little bit patchy in some areas, they just can't get a true reading. So naturally, dealing with an agent who's transacting more is going to give you a better opinion than someone who's selling one property a year in that suburb.
Yes.
So I think the professionals and the better agents are getting better value because what you're finding is owners want to deal with people that are transacting a lot. And I think that's a big difference for people.
Yeah.
Advice to vendors, deal with someone who's got at least 5 years experience. The last 5 years have been very interesting, as you know, with COVID and what people have been through. I think that's a really, really crucial point. And understanding the process, being ready to sell when you need to sell. A lot of people think, well, we're booking for auction. We're not going to listen to anything until the auction day. Sometimes you'll get a really strong offer prior to auction.
Yeah.
Really understand and trust your agent. If you're selecting someone to represent your home, understand the process, trust the agent.
I'm glad that you say that because sometimes I come across buyer that don't listen straight away. Actually happened this week, actually, for a property in Randwick. And she's been on my book for a week. And before she signed up with me, she's been looking for 3 months. She contacted me and after 3 months, she said, okay, I need your help. And she didn't really listen, and the property was sold. But now I believe that mistake of not listening come up with the results that she didn't want it. But that's now gaining more trust.
Of course.
So I like the point where that's all we do as a full-time gig. Allow the professional to guide you through the process.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Yes, have an opinion. Yes, it's your house. But at the same time, let us guide you through the process. And that's so true. Happening from the buyer's point of view as well. 100%. I like that. Right, last 2 questions. I'll promise to you. So nobody has a crystal ball. What's going to happen? Where do you see Kensington, Kingsford going to in the next 6 to 12 months?
We've still got a huge supply problem. So with supply always being a problem, the buy demand's going to be consistent.
Yeah.
So I can't see the market deviating from growth. I think at the moment we're on a really good trajectory. If anything, it's going to continue to grow. In particular, in specific, Kensington Town Centre's in the process of getting completed. So I think once that's completed, Kensington's probably going to be a spike suburb where you're going to see that significant growth once it's completed. So over the next sort of 6 to 12 months is probably a good time to get into Kensington, I feel. But it's been consistent for the last 30 years or last 23 years that I've been in real estate. That growth just consistently just continues on at that 5 to 7% range every year. So where's the market going to be? I think unless they really rectify the supply issue, where they do some more rezoning, some infrastructure, I think it's just going to continue to grow. Yeah,
I agree. It is interesting because I've mainly noticed the Kensington Kingsford for the last 5-6 years. You've actually been noticing for the last 20 years. You've seen quite a bit of change in the.
There was a big line in the sand because there was sort of pre-light rail, and post-light rail. Obviously, we had COVID, which was a bit of the glitch in the marketplace, but pre-light rail, Kingsford and Kensington were very different to where it is now.
Yeah.
But now with the convenience of getting in and out of the city, it's really put Kingsford and Kensington on the map.
Yeah.
Globally.
If someone want to get into the industry, they want to become a real estate agent, or maybe want to come and work for you, what attributes are you looking for to get someone working in your team?
Ooh, it's a very broad question. In short, I think discipline's the most important thing for me. If I can see that there's discipline there and they're actually tuned in, I think everyone's moldable. Being willing to learn, because you're going to need minimum, I feel, 2 years to work out whether you actually fit into the industry.
Yeah.
Because there's so many ups and downs. There's so many aspects to the industry. If you can survive the first 2 years, I feel that that'll galvanize you to either continue or to step away.
Yeah.
So you need that discipline and understanding that it is a journey. Yes, you do have your standout agents that might make, $1 squillion for the first year. I guarantee you it's very hard for them to do it for 5 or 10. So it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And having the discipline to understand that and build your business 10, 15, 20% every year and to get better and grow and educate yourself and get to a certain point where you can evolve, they're the types of people that I'd like to deal with.
Nice. Discipline. I agree. Where are we seeing you in? So Theo Felekos, what's the goal? What's the plan for you, your business? What are you guys planning to do?
Look, we're really shifting towards simplifying the process, as we said. We want to become more efficient. I don't see ourselves growing too much bigger. There might be a bit of more social media platforms being introduced, maybe a few sort of social media staff as well, just to boost profile, etc. like that. As far as GCI, we're hovering at a level that we're happy with, but we like to increase by 20% every year, so that'll stay consistent. Yeah. Eventually, I'd like to somehow mold the business where I can spend a bit more time with family, but it's really hard when, as I said, I want to maintain that personal touch because you're kind of torn. So thankfully, my wife's very understanding. She's very hands-on. She's the glue in our lives. So she does pick up a lot of the slack when I'm not around, which really helps. But if there's anything, I'd like to be able to spend a bit more time with the kids, soccer on Saturdays, things like that.
Nice. Theo, thank you so much for coming
Absolute
in,
pleasure.
mate. I appreciate you. Thank you for making time. Thank you for your patience. Thank you.
This is general advice and does not take into account your objectives, situations, or needs. You should consider if this advice is suitable to you and your personal circumstances. Please read any applicable PDS beforehand.